the essence of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent.
How many men have children and the children never meet their father? See, you created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Black power! Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Are you feeling fatigued and can barely make it through the day without some type of caffeine?
Are you on a journey of healing your body but need a little help?
Then alkaline water is what you really need.
Alkaline water has many benefits. Alkaline water can help restore pH balance in the body. Consuming beverages such as soda and coffee can make your body acidic.
Did you know that too much acid in your body has been linked to an anemia, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune disease, chronic pain, and other chronic conditions like gout and arthritis?
Those who use alkaline water have reported increased energy levels, clearer skin, reduction in inflammation, better digestion, and many other health benefits. I've used alkaline water for years, and it's been instrumental in sustaining my health when I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis.
Are you ready to take responsibility for your body's health?
If the answer is yes, then our alkaline water is just what you need. Bring your own bottles. It's only $3 for each gallon. To place an order or for more information, you can reach us at 773-846-3091. Thank you in advance for your support.
Hi, my name is Sister Ebony Stevenson. I am your announcer for today. Welcome to the Toma Nation's weekly Sunday worship service from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. every Sunday at 616 East 71st Street here in Chicago, Illinois, and also live on Facebook. If you would like more information, you can reach us at www.facebook.com/TomaNation2 or give us a call at 773-952-8302. Now I am going to recite our opening. In the name of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent, the one who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, and the one who made time the seed of the universe, known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amin-Ra and Aton, among the Hebrews as Ansal, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims and Islamic world as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribes of West Africa as Odumare, Eshu, and many other Orisha names. I bear witness that all of these names refer to the same one, Almighty Spirit, and it is to that essence which I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, the descendants of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are the Lost 13 tribe, born in North America and are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the earth flows through our veins. I greet you in the ancient but holy words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Now I am going to recite the 13 points of what we believe and know. Number 1. We believe and know that we are not to repeat the mistakes of the past prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator of the heavens and earth. Number 2. We believe and know that we can only establish an economic base through the application of the knowledge of self and the incorporation of the ideologies of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mahatma Gandhi, and Ben Ami. Number 3. We believe and know that the prophets and messengers of the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, and the Kemetic Holy Books were all black. Number 4, we believe and know that Jesus Christ of 2,000 years was and is a black man. Number 5, we believe and know that the knowledge of the Almighty Creator goes beyond books written by the prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator. Number 6, we believe and know that in order to promote and coordinate unity, we must first recognize and accept the uniqueness of being able to worship our Creator, regardless of religious denomination, name, title, ritual, particular dress, or holy book, as long as it recognizes the Almighty Creator of the heavens, earth, and the universe as supreme. Number 7, we believe and know that it is impossible to tell the truth without exposing the wicked governments of the world. Number 8, we believe and know that the United States government, in collaboration with other European nations, have a denial objective to exterminate dark-skinned people of color off the earth through the act of genocide. Number 9, we believe and know that some of the most effective methods that are being used today are AIDS, birth control, alcohol and drug abuse, vaccinations, gang and domestic violence, systematic elimination of trauma centers, the public school system, and public aid within the black communities of America and the world. Number 10, we believe and know that the last trick that Satan is playing on us is the dividing of us by our religious differences, religious gangbanging. Number 11, we believe and know that the conflict between the various religions are comparable to the conflict between various street gangs within the inner cities of America. Number 12, we believe and know that the war on drugs and gangs is a diabolical plot to disarm the black community of weapons, break up the black family, withdraw our constitutional rights, also kill and incarcerate young black males under the undercover code name April 2029. And number 13, we believe and know that every letter, shape, sound, and numerical value contains esoteric information that completely transcends the specific contextual meaning of the word. Our purpose: to bring about the growth of a righteous community in accordance with the laws of the Creator of the universe, under the leadership and guidance of Brother Minister Rahim Chesed Aton, to provide solutions to the social and economic ills that plague the communities of urban America. Our goal: to re-educate and retrain youth and young adults to develop positive moral values as an alternative to delinquent behaviors, because you can't rebuild a community and not rebuild the minds of the residents of the community to meet the responsibilities of maintaining the community's image. Our mission: to enhance the economic development of our communities by establishing businesses, real and personal properties, thereby creating jobs and/or entrepreneurship training programs that will reverse the concept of leaving the community to buying back the community. Our motto: let your light so shine before men that they shall see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Now we're going to recite our salute to the red, black, and green flag. Everyone put your right fist in the air and repeat after me. Here's to this flag of mine, the red, black, and green. Hopes in its future bright, Africa has seen. Here's to the red of it, great nations shall know of it. In time to come, red blood shall flow of it. Historians shall write of it, this flag of mine. Here's to the black of it, 400 million's back of it, whose destiny depends on it. The red, black, and green of it, old flag of mine. Here's to the green of it, young men and women shall dream of it, face shots and shells for it, maidens shall sing of it, waving so high. Here's to the whole of it, colors bright and pole of it, pleased is my soul with it, regardless of what is told of it. Thanks to God for giving him this great flag of mine. Please keep your right fist raised high in the air as we sing our Black National Anthem.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Black power, black power, black power. Black power is the power to define, develop, and defend that which is in the best interest of Black people.
Tell me when you see me. In the name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, he who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, he who made time the seat of the universe, known by so many names, Amen Ra, Aton, Yahweh, Elohim, many, 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 many names of God. But I bear witness that all of those names refer to the same one, Almighty God. And it is to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, those Black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are that lost 13 tribe born in North America, and that we are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins. I greet you all in the ancient but holy words of peace in many of the languages of our fathers, of Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Baragani, Alafia, Ashe. All greeting words and salutations. In the name of our fathers, I greet you in peace. Welcome, welcome to the Toma Nation. We are an all-inclusive, Black conscious, righteous movement dedicated to the upliftment of Black people in America and throughout the world. I am Brother Minister Rahim Chesed Aton, founder of this great movement, along with our co-founder, Minister Omari Jahi Aton, and the First Lady of this great movement, Sister Makita Aisha Aton. And we welcome you here today. For some, it's a very special day, or the beginning leading up to a special day that most of our people in the United States and most of our people throughout other countries celebrate this moment in time. It's called Palm Sunday, which leads up to Easter. But the Temple of Mercy Association, we don't believe in these holidays. We don't observe them. We don't celebrate them. And we are not alone. And we feel good to know that we are not alone. There are other groups that don't recognize or observe or celebrate these holidays. We call them pagan holidays. The Nation of Islam don't celebrate these particular holidays, or the Moorish Science Temple. Some of them, they don't celebrate. But Toma, we teach a philosophy that goes by scripture in the Bible that says, "Come out of her, my people." And you will find that in the book of Revelation, and when it speaks of coming out of her, it's speaking of America being a harlot and practicing a lot of what they call whoredoms. And in that book of Revelation, it tells his people to come out of her, and even said why. So we won't suffer her plagues. And so America being styled as Babylon or Mystery Babylon, the harlot, it's telling us to come out of her system as much as you possibly can. You may not be able to pull out 100%, but there has to be some effort showing that you understand this scripture and that you believe it to be true, to where you can say, well, I don't do this like this system, I don't do that, I don't do this, I don't do that. And coming into this movement, being all inclusive, which meaning we accept our people, Black people, no matter what religion they're involved in, even if they are not in a religion at all, we accept you coming into our edifice. And we say Black conscience, letting you know that we are woke. We are a woke movement. We're not asleep to the falsehoods that's been put in the Bible and in the Holy Quran, and the falsehoods that have been mixed in with the denominations and the churches. And we don't subscribe to those denominations, but we are Black conscious, which means that we are woke to our Black history. We are woke to our Black selves. We are woke to knowing exactly how embedded we are as a people into the very existence of this planet itself. That mostly everything good relates back to us and our origin with this planet. And that is being Black conscious, brothers and sisters. And the Black part of it is only giving you an association with a certain essence or a certain, what I would call it, a certain, it's not an entity, but some call it ether. That's what I've heard. But in Toma, we call it the dark matter of space. We call it the Black conscious of a great mind that exists, that creates planets, universes, galaxies, other planets. And it's constantly creating, and it's constantly thinking and planning. And this great mind that we recognize in Toma as the God of gods, the great mind, the almighty, the sovereign, the omnipotent. We recognize this entity, and that within the womb called space, with its thoughts, it brought into existence all the things that we see. And then out of its great magnitude of wisdom, created, or well, first created beings and created a lot of different animals and insects and living creatures. And then gave each one a part of its mind and knowing that when this physical body expires, that part that is his mind goes back to him. So it's on loan. It's not your mind, it's his mind. Now, even though he gave you a will, he gave you a process called decision. You know, some things he made don't have a decision. They must go according to whatever they were set up to do. They can't deviate, they can't stray. Certain animals, certain insects, certain things about nature got to follow a pattern. They can't say, well, not today. We can say that. They can't. And so that's the part that he decided to set us apart from other creatures that he created, that he gave us a choice. Well, we can say we'll do it or we won't do it. And by having that choice, he don't leave you just roaming around and not having something to like put up against whatever it is that's wrong or right. You will see that he gave us some commandments. And these commandments were what you would call laws on how we should conduct ourselves as the human species on this planet. And by going by those laws, we would be a civilized people in how we treat one another. Now, he created those laws, and you know the story it was on yesterday. Some of you all probably seen it, the 10 Commandments. He gave us those laws, and if you saw the movie, been coming on since I was a child, same one, with that man Charleston Heston as Moses. He gave you these laws because he had went to a king that they call in the Bible Pharaoh. I'm getting up to Palm Sunday. And he went to this Pharaoh not to sit down and negotiate. He didn't go to this Pharaoh to talk about what price that they could offer if Pharaoh wanted them to stop doing something or not upset something that he had set. He didn't go to Pharaoh for that. He went to Pharaoh for one thing, to say in the form of a warning, not a negotiation, but a warning. And it was this: let my people go. There was no negotiation. There was no, well, at least let us have them for 6 more years and we'll pay you X amount of money if you just let us have them for 6 more years and then we'll let them go. No. He said now. And if you don't, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, this is going to happen, and that is going to happen. And those things happen. Moses was connected to nature. Y'all know the story. Now we move on. And before they were about to go, after Moses had through all sort of plagues against his people, not his own people, but the Egyptians. And I want you to know right now, the Egyptians weren't the black Egyptians that we know of in ancient Kemet. From the time of ancient Kemet, which is the real name of Egypt, up to the time of Moses, Egypt had been overthrown multiple of times, and other races or nationalities had came in and took over. And during the time when Moses was a child, just born, they had a decree to kill off all the male children and keep the female. But then, inside of that story, you got to go and look it up. And if you see me saying anything wrong, call me. It says there was a king that came in who knew not Joseph. You would say, what did that do with Moses? Well, Joseph was of the Hebrew family or tribe. And Joseph, at one point in his life, as an adult, make a long story short, had got a government job. Yeah, y'all know that's what it was. And he really deserved that government job because he was qualified for that government job. All the other people came to fill out an application, and in their interview, they couldn't tell the king what his dream meant. But Joseph, when he was interviewed, he passed the test and he got the job. So in getting that job, there was a famine coming of starvation, 7 years of famine, 7 years of prosperity first, then 7 years of famine. And by him getting that job, he, during the 7 years of famine, put aside certain amounts of food so that they could survive. When they was going through 7 years of plenty, he put the food aside so they would survive the 7 years of famine. And by him doing such, he made a name throughout Egypt. And all the kings who ruled Egypt from the first family of Pharaoh knew who he was because he was in their history books. So it would lead you to say, well, how can a king come in and don't know Joseph unless they overthrew the country? Because the king's son would know the story. They would be teaching him in school. And the king's son's son would know the story. But if you didn't know him, then you was an outsider. So the outsider came in, and by the time Moses was grown and he came back, see, Moses, y'all, I don't know if y'all understood this, but Moses was 40 years old, brothers, sisters, when he left. He stayed in the wilderness for 40 more years. When he came to see Pharaoh, he was 80. By the time he died, it was 120. No, a little bit more, close to 300. So we dealing with Moses. And why am I talking about Moses from back then? Because not warned, but I told you all that. You will never see me come up here to give a story about the past if I can't bring it up to date. And I don't mean 1900, I mean 2023. So if anything that I said sounded a little bit like something that happens today, then I'm doing my job. Because all you got to do is look at this election. See, and there were some people that Moses was talking to that were of the Hebrew tribe that didn't want to go. They didn't want to go. They wanted to stay with Pharaoh. Some of them that even left, turned around and said one day to Moses, at least we was living good back then. We wasn't living like we living now. At least we could eat. That's how we are. See, y'all know that's happening now, ain't it? See, a lot of people got this big old excuse, like they really 100% family men, when the real truth is they just as guilty as they say the baby mama is when she used a baby to get back at the father. Well, Father, you guilty for using your family as a tool, as an excuse to get you out of a job you're supposed to be doing. You just as guilty. Well, you know my family. I got to feed my family. I know a ninja who says that a lot. But when he get the money to feed his family, the first thing he get is weed and alcohol. But his mouth say one thing. So if you really about what you say, when you get your money, you feed your children, you clothe your children, and then your alcohol and your cigarettes and your weed is last. Then you can say that to me and I'll believe you. But you don't say that crap to me and think that I'm going to believe that, and now you want me to believe you because it's sufficient for something you want to get out of right now. No, go play that with somebody else. Go play that with somebody who was raised up with nursery rhymes. I ain't the one. And so we come up to what this Easter is supposed to be about. Not the Easter dealing with Astarte, the goddess of fertility. Not that one. I'm talking about the part where they put Easter with Jesus dying on the cross in the Passover. So I'm coming up to this Passover thing. Because by the way, my lecture title is, got to look it up here. A prophet is without honor only in his own home. Now I'm going to show you what I mean. You see, you hear the stuff that Moses going through, don't you? With his own people. So he brought them some 10 commandments. But like I told you, before they left, he had went back to Pharaoh and said, look, you keep holding on to my people, but I'm telling you, if you say one more negative thing against my people, it's coming back on you. Whatever you say. But I do have to let you know that this is your last chance to let my people go. This is your last chance. Ain't no negotiating. If you don't let them go this time, the firstborn of everyone that's an Egyptian in this country will be dead before sunrise. And so he decided he was going to run ahead of that and kill off all the Hebrew children that were firstborn. So now, here we go with the Passover. God told Moses, tell all of the children that of Hebrew faith to put the blood of a lamb, kill a lamb, told you how to kill the lamb, told you what kind of lamb to kill. At that time, killing lambs or killing animals was the sacrifice for your sin. Yes, that's called like a scapegoat or something. And so they would kill a lamb and said, put it on the 2 pillars of your front of your door and across the top. And when the death angel come through, it'll pass you by. It'll pass over you. And nobody will die in your family. Some of the Hebrews do like sometime when you come to somebody's door to get him some information. Said, no, I don't want it. And they went on past them. And so that night, when all the screaming and hollering was happening in Egypt, there was also screaming and hollering happening among the Hebrews because they were the ones who said, no, that's okay. We passed out flyers Saturday. It was people, no, that's okay. So that happens all the time. But it also says in the word, be careful how you treat strangers, because you might just be entertaining angels unaware. Now, if what I say don't sound like what you see in your Bible, maybe you need to get back to the King James Version. Because your watered down version ain't got no strength. It's just as weak as coffee, certain coffee. Some coffee strong. So now that was the first Passover, back during the time of Moses. And moving up about 1,000 years later, maybe more, there was a man born into the world that you heard me talk about last Sunday. And at that time when he was born, the Hebrews or Jews had started doing what you call every year this Passover that recognized that situation that happened to them on that last day before they were set free from bondage. And so they would constantly do that Passover every year. And so Yahshua, when he grew up, at a certain time, he would go and observe the Passover. But now he changed it. This is another reason they mad at Jesus. He changed the Passover. Yeah. Actually, and I know the church world ain't gonna like this one. The communion that they take was the new Passover. The communion. And he said it. Now, as often as you do this, this shows my death and my suffering. Now, you'll say, well, what they got to do with Moses? Well, remember they took the blood of a lamb and put across their doorpost. Jesus is considered the Lamb of God who shed his blood. And that's what he was saying. Now, not as often as you kill that sheep. No, as often as you do this, you show forth my death, my suffering. I'm the sheep now that was slaughtered at the cross for your life, to help you to come into the light, to help you to know who the Father is. And that's the new Passover, y'all. Now, what did he mean, though? Even though it's symbolically still being done, where even in the Catholic Church, they give you this little wafer and some wine, and in the church, they give you this little cracker and some wine. Has no strength, has no power, because it was being held symbolically until this day and time, until it should be opened up to you what that was about. And now, because this is the last days, and Daniel's book is open, and Revelation is being revealed throughout the book, Jesus, when he gave it to his disciples, 12 disciples at the table, this was right before Judas left. Judas left after that. He said, this is my body. This wine is my blood. And he was talking about the body of work that he came to do and the doctrine that he had to teach, the Beatitudes that he taught. It didn't have nothing to do with the physical healing of the people. He was talking about his doctrine of the kingdom of heaven being on earth, and you representing that kingdom of heaven. That was the doctrine. And the blood was the example. He said, now my life is what you got to follow to keep you in line and in order. He didn't say the 10 Commandments, because he even took them and broke them down to 2. They say, well, should we study the 10 Commandments? He said, what is the greatest 2 commandments in that Bible, Master? He said, well, it's 2. They said, what is the greatest one? They didn't even ask him about 2. They said, what's the greatest commandment in all 10? He said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul and all thy might. But then he went on, because he knew that as above, so below, and first natural, then spiritual. He knew this, so he had to say both of them. He said, and the first one, he said, and the second one is like unto the first. Love thy neighbor as thyself. And he said, upon these two stand all of the law and the prophets. Look at that. All of the 10 commandments and everything that the prophets prophesied. He said, if you just practice those two, you eligible to be in the kingdom. Now, if you ever been in love before, and I'm going to give you the short version. If you ever been in love before, all that you do while you in love is the level that Jesus was telling you that you got to be in love with this higher essence, this higher power. Thank you, First Lady. Let them know who that was, hand that went across the screen. So this Yahshua was showing you what got him killed. Because he came changing things. But you would think that he was contradicting himself when he said something about not changing none of the scripture. To condense something is not actually changing it. It keeps the same meaning. And just like right now, if you was in love with somebody, you will be texting them right now. They will be texting you. They can't wait till you show up again. You can't wait till you see them again. You got to say something to them before you go to bed at night. You got to contact them as soon as you wake up in the morning. And you got to try to, whatever moment in your life where it's quiet, you'll be wishing you was with them. That's how God wants you to be in your understanding of your closeness to him. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. And when we say it in Toma, we show you how close we talking about. We say it this way in our prayer. Be our eyes, be our hand, be our feet. See what I'm saying? Be our tongue. That's what we say. We say walk in us. We say speak to us. Speak through us. Now, what kind of closeness? Can you get any closer than that? That's a relationship. That's a relationship similar to what Jesus was saying. And he said it this way. Me and my Father are one. That's how Jesus said it. You can't get no better than that. But that's why it's only going to be a chosen few to be around to help bring in the kingdom of God, because a lot of us keep putting up all these excuses why you can't practice his beatitudes. Even though he condemned, I'm not condemning, but condensed the 10 commandments, you was making excuses why you couldn't do 10. Now you can't do 2. What's the problem? Now I'm going to read the scripture that go with my title of my lecture. And you can find it if you want to check to see if I'm telling the truth. It's in the book of Mark, in the New Testament, chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 1. Because we in the Bible in the month of March and April. But our main study book is called Black Root Science this month. Last month it was God, the Black Man in Truth by Ben Ami. It goes as follows, chapter 6 in the book of Mark. And he went out from thence, and he came into his own country, and his disciples followed him. In other words, he went from city to city, state to state, and he decided to come home. Y'all getting it? And he did so much where he was at. This leads up to Palm Sunday. And when the Sabbath day came, he taught in the synagogue. He went to church and he taught a Wednesday class. And many hearing him were astonished. They were saying, from whence has this man these things? Say, where did he get this information from? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him? What kind of wisdom is this? that even such mighty works are wrought by his hands. Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not this the son of Mary, the brother of James and Jonas and Judah and Simon? See, those were his half brothers. Those were Joseph's children before he was put with Mary. And they asked that question. And they were offended, it says, at him. See, you got people who are jealous of your knowledge and wisdom. Like, who the hell he think he is? Knowing what he knows. There are people who are jealous of a position you could be in. A position, brothers and sisters, that money can't buy. And if money can't buy it, they're in deep trouble trying to get in your position. Because most times, if you're in a position that money can't buy, you was born with it. Most times. And the only way you're going to get that same position is to be born with it. Nicodemus came to Jesus because first he was jealous. Y'all didn't know that, did you? Yeah. He said, let me come find out, because, he was a high priest. And he saw all this too. He want to come and see who this nigga is. Where they all listening to him and ain't listening to us no more. So tell me about what you're teaching. Let me hear this. And he started telling them this and that. And you got to this and you got to be born again. And if you want to be like this, just like what I just said, certain things you're going to be born with. And he told him the same thing I just said. And he also told, and he said, well, then how can I get some of that? He said, oh, it's pretty easy. You got to be born again. See, I already got it, but you got to be born again. He said, oh, what? You can't give me a couple of books and let me go read them and come back to you and study with you at night? That's exactly what it was. He said, no, you can't do that. That's not how this works. Thank you, sir. That hand was our brother Will. I know these cups and stuff don't just appear, so, I have to say who that is, Yeah. One of my top soldiers in our army over here, the head of the army. But, yeah, Nicodemus came, and he wanted to know too, because he was in that audience every time they came and they heard Jesus. He was in the synagogue, and he was hearing Jesus. Every time he was in town, he was in that number. And he wanted to get close to him. He didn't want to follow him. He wanted to get his knowledge. Should I say that again? I ain't going to say it again. Let me read some more. Say, now, ain't this just the carpenter's son? Ain't this just the son of Flora Ellis? Jesus said to them, and they were offended. He said, a prophet is not without honor. In other words, he's saying, see, some people don't know how to read this. It sounds weird. Watch how it's read, and you have to know how to read the Bible, especially King James Version. A prophet is not without honor, but in his own country and among his own kin and in his own house. So he's saying that a prophet is not without honor. He is honorable. He's not without it. He gets it. He said, but there's some areas that they don't, honor him as much as the world do. And I think Omari said it like this, for everybody who don't understand. When you get too close to the sun, you become blind. You get too much light, you become blind. And if it's your teacher that gave you that light, you don't see him no more. Mm-hmm. This is what happened. That's what happened to Judas. The only way you would still see your teacher and the only way you would still see the sun is if you've absorbed some of that light. Just like the 12 virgins. And they wanted some light. Just like with a candle. You can share your light and light someone else's, but now they got to keep it lit. And how do you keep it lit? Whatever that them other 5 virgins knew to keep theirs lit, you were supposed to know and use that same method. But when you walk with yours lit and it goes out, then their light's still bright. You don't see them no more in the light of what they had become. You see them as that regular son of the who, daughter of the that kind of person now. They ain't even about God no more. Because why? You lost your light. He ain't lose his. She ain't lose hers. You lost your light. And now you're so close to the sun, you can't see. Let me read some more. And so he said, and he could there do no mighty work. This is why artists can't get famous in their own time. Because the people too familiar with him. He said he couldn't do no work. He said all he did while he was there, laid his hand on a couple of people, a few sick folk, it say, and he healed them. And he said he marveled because of their unbelief. He marveled because of their unbelief. But then he went round about the villages teaching. He called unto them all his 12, and he began to send them forth by 2 and 2, gave them power over unclean spirits, commanded them that they should take nothing for their journeys except the staff, no scrip, no bread, no money in their purses. Just go. He even went far to say, and if you go to somebody's house and they don't let you in, or they do let you in and they treat you a certain way, he said, wipe your feet when you walk out their door. Jesus must have knew a little Yoruba teaching. I ain't gonna even go no further with that. I want to read something else dealing with this. In the book of John, it's almost time to go, that's why I'm reading. In the book of John, chapter 14, it goes as follows. This is Jesus walking around, because you heard me last week saying that Jesus came to show you the highest potential you could have to become a God. Because you had fallen from it. You had not gotten all that you could have to become this God. You had fallen and became more like your oppressor. And so this is why they killed him, because he was doing things that they understood. I'm talking about the priests. They understood it, but the person that they were looking for to come doing what he was doing, they felt that he would have their type of income. See, but he was walking among the poor, wearing sandals. They were looking for one like them to walk in. See, but he was of no repute. But he was the Son of God, telling you that you're a son and daughter too, telling you that you not only are heir, but joint with him to the throne. But you don't want that part, because it comes with responsibility. It's like running from your ministry. It comes with responsibility. You just want to put it all on him, because it's easy, ain't it? Jesus asked his disciples, he said, have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me? And he was talking to Philip. He's looking at Philip. He that has seen me has seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, show us the Father? Y'all trying to show me the Father. He say, believe thou not that I'm in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself. He said, but the Father that dwelled in me, he does the works. See, he didn't even take credit. He said, Father in him does the work. He said, I'm not doing this of myself. And I tell every person that God had called to be a minister or chose to be a minister that you don't come up here of yourself just to be talking to people, just to be saying words, just to see if you can get a rise out of somebody, just so you can feel good and beat your chest and say, I told them something. Hell no. No. You got people's lives in your hand, and you're supposed to give the good news as well as the warning. And then you're supposed to expose the lie and the evil of this world. Wherever it is, you're supposed to expose it so our people can rightly begin to see the truth from the false. Then they can make a decision. Ain't no way you can do the ministry Jesus did if you ain't going to uncover the falsehood. Ain't no way. You're not doing it. And if you do less, you receive less. Boy, this here thing, I gotta fix it. I can't stand that noise. And then he said, believe me that I'm in the Father and the Father in me. He said, but if not, then he said, at least, y'all got to read this. At least then, believe me for the very work's sake. Look at that. He giving you chances. Saying, if you don't want to believe me on that esoteric level, that I'm not here of my own, and that I'm here and I'm sent by something higher than me, and that is in me, and it speaks through me, he said, okay, but even for some of y'all who just can't even believe that, then how about the works? How about me saving lives? How about me transforming lives? How about me letting the blind, helping the blind to see and the deaf to hear? And how about all of that? Then just believe for the work's sake. How many people you know give up their life for people? How many do you know that is so merciful that it just look like that's impossible to have that much mercy? That's because they're not there of themselves. It's because they're not there to be glorified. They're not there for accolations, certificates, trophies, plaques. The hell is that for? That's for humans. I understand. Believe me, I understand. I was taught by some people that told me that you got to give your people plaques and certificates and all. I couldn't understand it. I do now, but I couldn't then. You got to give them some plaques. You ain't got to give me not one plaque to do what I'm doing up here. You ain't got to say thank you, because I'm going to do it anyway. Because I studied the word, both Bible and Quran, and my Quran commissioned me. Said, first the Bible said, in season and out of season, you're supposed to do it. Then the Holy Quran said that you're supposed to deliver a clear message. And in the Quran, it says whether they bear or forbear, meaning whether they listen or not, whether they take heed or not. I said what you're supposed to do is teach it anyway. So if the room empty, if ain't nobody listening, if they looking the other way, when it's time for you and your judgment, I'm going to ask you, why'd you stop? And I want to hear what excuse you're going to give that's going to be greater than what I told you. That I said in season and out of season. I said whether they listen or not. That's your higher calling. The layman ain't got to deal with that. But you do, because to whom much is given, much is expected. And he says, verily I say unto you, he that believe on me, and he didn't say in me, Big difference. I'll tell you in a minute. He that believe on me, the works that I do shall he do also. Did you hear that? That means you can do what he did. But then he didn't stop there. Again, he didn't stop there. He said, and greater. I'm reading it from the book. And greater works than these shall you do. He said, I'm leaving because I'm going to the Father. See, he came as an example, not to be worshipped. He didn't ask you to do that. See, to believe on me, I'm going to show you something. To believe on me will keep you from trying to charge me with the part of me that's human. To believe in me, you would think I would be perfect. Y'all better catch me. To believe in me, see, that's an internal thing. That's when I look at you, I don't want to see no imperfection. Because you telling me what's coming from you is of God. And so you're telling me to believe in you? Okay, I'm gonna give in. I'm gonna put my guards down and I'm gonna believe in you. And every time you see a defect, you start losing faith. But see, if you believe on me, you see my defects right now, don't you? Huh? And so now it's going to take a different kind of faith to believe what's coming out of my mouth. Because I ain't perfect and you see it. Now, if you see me trying to live a life of Christ, if you see me, I'm talking about with the naked eye. Because it was only a few people could see him like Peter did. That wasn't everybody. He said, well, how do you see me, Peter? He said, I see you as Christ, the Son of God. He said, you know, flesh and blood didn't show you that. See, if you believed on him, flesh and blood, oh, I wonder if y'all catching that. Peter saw past the defect. Then you can believe in him. That he said, if you just believe on me, I'm looking at the words. And then he showed you what he meant by that in the Beatitudes. Then he said, I didn't come to destroy the law. He's showing you. He said, I came to fulfill them. I came to fill the shoes of the law. I came to be that law walking among you. Watch me keep God's commandments. Let me show you how to keep his commandments. Watch me. Follow me. When he say, thou shalt not kill, I ain't going to kill nobody. When he say, thou shalt not steal, I'm not going to steal. Thou shalt not commit adultery, I ain't going to commit adultery. So now, he really got to be tight, don't he? Because you said, believe on me. So now, on you, you might commit adultery, and I see it. And I believed on you. It takes a certain kind of eye. See, when you know him, you don't have to believe on him no more. Because then on the level that you on is that when you believe in him, you don't even see him no more. You see the God that permeates from that individual. And you don't take your eye off that God part, so that when the part that's of man and that is sinful, that's why he came in sinful flesh, so that he can deny sin in the flesh. Showing you how to do it. Showing you that he would be tried. Showing you, watch me, believe on me, not in me, believe on me, because the only way you gonna overcome, you got to see me overcome. You got to learn the epitome of mercy. You got to learn the epitome of love. You got to learn the epitome of compassion. You got to take it to its highest point of love in order to love your people. See, you can take the regular love for your family, but you got to love a whole backwards people and all they crap that they giving you. And they ain't even your kinfolks. And you got to love them because it's your love that's keeping God's mercy on them. I understood what the minister said, Farrakhan. He said you got to love them more than they hate themselves. Now, what you need to do is study how deep do they hate themselves? How deep do black people hate themselves? Well, I'll show you. One of them, that they won't even vote for their own. That's how deep they hate themselves. They want the white man to save them. With all his faults, they'll take all his faults. They don't care what his fault is. They'll take his faults. They'll take that he lied 5 years ago and didn't do what he said. And I'm going to believe him again and again and again and again. Then you can teach them all day and tell them all this about let my people go and Pharaoh done, we won't let Pharaoh go and this and that. Yeah, and then when it's feasible, you the one telling them to let Pharaoh go and this and that. And then when you get paid, you on the other side talking about, well, not this one. And I ain't just talking politics. I'm talking everything, black man. One person that's your own that might be an entrepreneur or a store owner treat you wrong, every black entrepreneur got to be at fault for it. Everyone. But you got an Arab in your community having sex with our women, having these mixed babies walking around in the neighborhood that he ain't taking care of, and then treating you wrong when you come in the store and your raggedy behind to go back tomorrow in his store. You know I ain't lying. And if you go to another store, you'll go to another Arab store. But if one black business owner did something wrong to you, every black business is in trouble. You hate yourself. Yeah. You hate yourself when you put on them false eyelashes, women. Because you don't like what God gave you. It ain't enough. And when I say yourself, I mean as you are. I think Minister Farrakhan said it the best. He said, stand in a full mirror with no clothes on and see if you hate yourself or not. Because you ain't finna get another body. You can work on that one, but you're going to keep that one until you gone. Look at the stuff we do to hate ourselves. We talking about Palm Sunday, and all that was a big show of a bunch of niggas faking that they like Jesus. Setting them up. That's what they was doing. And they'll do that to you today. And it said in a song, they smiled in your face when all the time, while they was putting palms down, they want to take his place. Backstabbers is exactly what they were. Don't think just because somebody said hallelujah, hallelujah, that they so righteous. They were saying Hosanna, Hosanna. And with the same voice, in the same damn key, they were saying crucify him the next damn day. Look at what all the man of God got to take Look at all what a woman of God got to take to die that you might live. How about Martin Luther Christ? How about Malcolm X Christ? They died so you might live. So y'all keep thinking died for somebody to might live. You all don't understand what Jesus represented. But you want to take it and put it all in one entity that ain't even in your face right now. That flesh that was him is not in your face right now. But yet he came to you many times. Bible says he came cloaked like a thief in the night. He wasn't going to tell you who he was. He was going to be covered in some more, a different kind of skin. But he's going to do the same work. He's going to do the same things. He's going to represent the same attributes. He's going to represent the same be attitudes. And I hate to say it. And the Bible said, watch out for the people that do say it. And I'm sorry if I hurt somebody's feeling, but I just got to go by the Bible. He said, be careful of the people who say, I'm Jesus. Be careful of the people who say, I seen him over there. And I've seen him over there. And I've seen him over there. A lot of these real righteous men of God get to a point to where they get to believing and telling people that they're Jesus. But you're not. Jesus was Jesus, and that's it. Yahshua was Yahshua. When Yahshua gone or you gone, you who you was. You're going to have somebody look like you and everything, but they ain't you. One Jesus, many Christ. You get it? And that's what you're looking for in an individual, a Christ consciousness, a Christ understanding that makes you walk in the same footsteps of someone who paved the way before you. That's what it means when he said you can't get to the Father except you come through him. Why? Because he paved the way for you. He said, I'm standing at the door right here. Did you follow what I left for you to follow? Did you act like I told you to act that would qualify you to get in this door? I'm the doorkeeper. I'm the way. Did you understand you ain't fitting to follow Jesus in heaven? Hell, how you gonna follow the doorman? You don't get it. But he said you can't get in here except you come by him. He didn't say I was gonna go in with you. But I'm gonna hold the door open so you can get in. Leave the door open. I know y'all. See, I'm a musician for those who don't know. And a lot of songs come through me when I'm teaching. So don't feel offended. Been a musician 45 years, so songs will come through me sometime. I'm trying to tell you that every time around this time, the hell with Easter, the hell with Istarte. Matter of fact, the whole situation around Easter is the history of the damn white man. It ain't your history. It's around the time when he was a Neanderthal, a caveman, that this story of Easter sprang from. And somebody gave it to you as a myth, a Greek myth. Istarte is Greek. Istarte, the mother of fertility. And because the sickness of the white man's mind, he made it sexual. That's what he did. God didn't make fertility sexual. You may have to have sex to get it to happen and be fertile and produce, but he didn't make it to be sexual. You see, y'all, I hope y'all catching me. He'd be a mean God to make sex and make it where you don't like it. That would be pretty mean, wouldn't it? But he didn't want you to pervert it. And we perverted it. And now it's called sin. Because you perverted it. So now I'm going to close out with this. When you take communion now, that means you got to get more into your studying and more into your doctrine about what Yahshua came to teach. And then you're going to have to align yourself with the teachings and try to get as close to it as you possibly can. And that way you'll be closer to God. How I know? Because he said, me and my Father's one. So if you get closer to his teachings, you'll get closer to the Father. Because he said he only do the things that please him. So evidently what he did and what he's teaching was pleasing to God. Get in line and in alignment with that, and you'll do things that's pleasing to the God. Now let me show you something else. You heard me say at the beginning that God was this great mind. And you're going to learn more about it when we read Black Root Science. But I've been teaching on it before then. This great mind that controls the universe, that's outside of the planet Earth and inside of the planet Earth at the same time. You would wonder how that works. But your brain, energized by your mind, right now has your heart beating for however many years you've been alive. You still ain't figured it out. Got your blood pumping right now. Got you seeing, and whatever else you're doing in this vehicle is because of the mind that energizes, it ignites your brain. When that mind is gone, your brain is dead. Your brain don't go nowhere. When you hear the doctor say, oh, well, he or she is brain dead, that means your mind has disconnected itself. It's gone. And that's the real thing. You're out of your mind. That's the real deal right there. And that part of your mind that's connected to a higher power that showed you that you're in its image, not you are it, but you're in what he imagined you to be, which he imagined you to be the perfect vehicle and how you are set up that can embody him. Do you understand that? I don't even want to say him. Now I got to say in the essence of the eternal divine spirit. Not him. This was the perfect one. Arms, legs, arms, and head. That was the perfect one. In this shape, not like a damn grasshopper, in this shape. He can embody this one. The white man trying to do it now. He's trying to put his mind in his creation. And that ain't even his mind. That's God's mind. That he loaned to him. He's trying to put his thoughts in a robot. One good thing he did do, though, that he couldn't think of it no other way, he do know it's artificial. He can't get past that. You know why? Because he can't deny real. Y'all get that? Because it's going to be forever before him. So ain't nothing after real but artificial, right? Artificial intelligence. He'd rather go for that than to tell you that he got most of his intelligence from us. On this day, if you want to represent it, you should use self-analysis, self-examination, self-correction, and go through the Beatitudes and look at how Jesus walked, how he talked, look at the work that he did, look at the work that he told you to do, and see how far in alignment or out of alignment that you are with it. And then try to get back on it. Because he said, as often as you do it, as often as you do it, you show forth my death and my suffering. As often as you do it, brothers and sisters, it ain't no damn libations for Martin Luther King. How about the life of Martin Luther King? No damn libations for no Marcus Garvey. He turned it over in his grave with the way y'all bull-jiving. I almost said it the other way. I'm telling it like I'm feeling it. No libations for them. No more than it's you eating that doggone cracker and drinking that wine. Symbolic of you doing the works that they did. It's symbolic of you replicating the works of Marcus Garvey. Replicating the works of Malcolm X. Replicating the works of Martin Luther King Jr. I'm only speaking the 20th century right now, because if I go back farther, you get scared. You know I go there, won't I don't want to scare you. Just do their works. Just take up some of the stuff they said and memorize their stuff like they do you in school, making you memorize Socrates' words and all them other people's famous words. Memorize some of the words of Martin Luther King. Memorize Yahshua. Memorize Yahweh ben Yahweh. Memorize all of the prophets that then came before you. The men and women of God. Memorize them. And as often as you do that, that's how you show forth their death and their suffering. Isn't that deep? It ain't got nothing to do with the stuff we keep on doing all the time, like we some actors and all, and every time we gotta put on our acting shoes and our acting gloves and our acting hat and our acting robe and come out there and act a part. You damn hypocrite. That's what you are. Go join the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and sell cookies. Don't stop playing. And all you fake niggas in these damn Greek fraternities trying to talk about the brothers and sisters out here showing all these doggone gang signs and stuff when you gang banging all damn day on Facebook. All these damn things y'all doing, all these damn colors y'all got on, but you want to knock they red and they blue. What about your purple, damn it? What about your red and white? They ain't gonna stop gang banging until you do. Time out. If we want to be whoever you know we used to be, and if you want to be whoever we're supposed to be, you're gonna have to give up a whole lot of stuff in order to pick up the mantle or what Jesus said, your cross, and follow him. You got a lot to give up. I didn't come into this damn thing to be all that crap in masonry. I knew it before I got in it. I knew I wasn't going all the way up to no 32nd degree. I knew it. I knew I wasn't getting in none of this stuff that I got into for some big old accolades or a big damn title. The hell with the title. And I done told most of us at these tables, if you want true unity at a table, then stop them damn titles and be brother and sister. But you don't want to do that because you want to stand there and do just like I accuse the male who make the excuse that he got to take care of his children. You turn around and try to make an excuse about how important the damn title got to be at a meeting. You just as worse as the cracker. Got an excuse for everything but to do unity. I ain't got to be minister at no meeting. I ain't got to be mister. Just call me brother. Why you can't just be sister? Why you got to be pastor? Why you got to be doctor? Why you got to be any of that? How about sister? How about brother at these meetings? And when you address me, say brother Rahim, brother Wilson, brother whoever. Sister Patricia Brady, Sister Cheryl, Sister Makita, brother Joshua. Remove all titles when you come in to sit down at a unity meeting. All of them. Then you got to have a little thick skin. Because when they talking, if they got any kind of religion in them, you can't get offended. If you understood our opening, you wouldn't get offended. If while they talking, they say Jesus. Or somebody else might talk and say God. And somebody else might talk and say Jehovah. And somebody else might talk and say black. You should not be getting offended. Damn it, when you was a child, according to what I understand, you thought as a child. You act like a child. But when you became a man or woman, you put away childish things. We got children sitting at the table with us, y'all, faking like adults. Faking like adults. I'm telling it like it is. You don't know how to sit there and be brothers and sisters? Your parents should have taught you that. Am I lying? In your household, didn't the parents have to teach you how to be brothers and sisters? If they didn't, you'd have beat the hell out of each other. Stop you, say, don't you never fight each other like that. If I ever see that again, taught you how to be brothers and sisters. Why you won't pick that back up? I was around in the 60s when every time we saw each other, we say, what's up, brother? How you doing, sister? Sister, you want me to carry that? Brother, what's happening? Walking up and down the street. That's how we were talking back then. Some of y'all in here remember that. We didn't say, may I help you carry your groceries, Miss So-and-so? No, sister so-and-so. Sisters and brothers. We got to go back to that. You want to sit at a unity meeting? Leave your damn title out there. Pick it up at the door. Matter of fact, we'll put it on a piece of paper if you forget it by being in the meeting too long. This one will say, Mr. Darrell Wilson. Come get it when we leave. And there's you, brother. See, some of us got Alzheimer's all the time. They don't want no unity. We don't want to make it. We want crumbs that fall from the rich man's table. Nothing but crumbs. We used to ask for slices. Y'all remember that? I want a slice of the pie. Y'all ever hear them say that? I want a piece of the cake. Now we don't even care. And I'm going to always tell you this, Mr. and Mrs., if we ain't at the table, we on the menu. I sat at the table and I looked at the menu. We were still on it. Serving you back to your damn self. Y'all don't know. Y'all ain't ready. I'm going to be like my brother. I won't be with y'all long. Because this world as it is ain't the world I want to be in. But I'm going to show while I'm here, help bring in the one that my brother told me about in his book. I'm going to try to bring it in to the best of my ability and with the help of the laborers in this movement. And I'm going to work hard to try to be an example. And I want to let you see me work out my imperfections. Did you hear what I just said? See me work out my imperfections, not see me in them and making an excuse for them. In them and trying to tell you this is, well, that, and hell no. I was so crazy when I was young that when I was doing something wrong, after I finished, I said, you know we're wrong, don't you? I said, you know God gonna get us, don't you? People didn't even want me at their parties sometimes because I was always talking about God. And that's the truth. It's 2:00. I'm gonna shut up. But I hope y'all understand the Passover, and I hope y'all now understand Palm Sunday. So if you start seeing people greasing your palm, you'll know they're getting ready to take you out. God bless you. Peace.